Yo, what's going on? Magic Mill coming at you again with another good barbering video about how I do my thing. In a lot of ways, barbering is like fingerprints. Everyone's style is different. So I like to share my style and how I do things. And today I'm going to use this product right here. A lot of people call this Bigen or Bigen, but it is a dye, and it is a dark dye because it is number 59 Oriental Black. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to dye my salt and pepper beard, this wisdom. I'm going to dye all this good looking wisdom down and make it all black. Stay tuned. And we'll just sit this to the side for right now. Okay, so it comes with instructions. These are gloves, and it comes with the product. There is a mixing tray here also, but there is no brush to mix it with. So you have to supply your own mixing brush and application brush. But okay, you want to make sure, this is important, you want to make sure that you got, to get the good dark beard, you want to get 59. Make sure you got 59, okay? All right, and this the mixing tray. So to do a full beard, pretty much that's like my beard, without a formal measurement, it comes out powdery. So I'm going to use pretty much half of the bottle, a little less than half of the bottle. You get with it, the more proficient you get at it, you can use less and less and stretch it more and more. But I recommend for you first timers, or if it's a couple times you've tried it, use close to half of the bottle. This thing is inexpensive. It's around $7, $8. You can always get it for under 10. And it pretty much, in my opinion, it lasts for about 7 days, 6 days, 7 days, showering regularly. It's just that when you shower, you don't want to go too heavy on it. So yeah, I got about that much in there, about half of it. And now we're going to add water, because this is just instant. You just add water, stir, let it settle, and grab the color, and it's ready. When you're adding your water, you want to use hot water. I like to use hot water, not warm water or cold water. Hot water, it dissolves the product thoroughly, and that's what you want. You want everything that's supposed to be mixed to mix well and to come and cohese together. So we're using hot water, and what we don't want to do, we don't want to run the water fast into the container. You don't want to run the water fast. You want to drip it into the container. That way you can measure how much water goes into the mixture, because inside of the mixture you want to have a thick mixture. The viscosity, you want it to be thick. You don't want it to be runny, because if it's runny, when you apply it to the beard, you will incur a lot of splash. So you don't want it splashing everywhere and getting everywhere like I did on my fade shop shirt. See? So you don't want it runny, you want it thick, okay? Because Bigen or Bigen is not a very easy product to get out of fabrics and to get off of mirrors and walls, because the splatter is pretty much uncontrollable. So what you want to do is make sure your mixture is thick. So now what we're going to do is we're going to add the hot water into the mixture. We're going to drip it in. See, I got it at pretty much a drippity speed. So now, as I got it dripping, I want to just splash it in. I don't want to overpower the mixture too much. Okay? So we're going to start with about that much. Okay, we'll see how much that is now. See, as the mixture is settling at the bottom and some floating to the top. So what we're going to do is, you have to come up with your own mixing brush. Okay? And now this is actually an extra mixing brush that I kept from a Just for Men hair dye product. And so that comes in handy. Sometimes you don't want to just throw away everything. A lot of times I keep extra brushes from other dye products, and I also keep their trays sometimes too. Now you see how thick this mixture is? Now I know I said I want it thick, but I don't want it this thick. I want it a little bit thinner than this, because the reason being is I want the mixture to really break free and do everything that it's supposed to do. So I don't want it that thick. I want it thick though. So we're just gonna add a little more water, a couple more drips, because I don't have it going fast. And now you see how it's breaking up again. Sometimes it'll look too watery. You don't worry about that. What you do is you keep mixing it. You mix it and wait. And if it's still too watery, you add more product. Because the only thing you can really do by adding more product is to get a richer color. Of course, you'll use more product, but hey, as long as you can get 2 to 3 uses out of it, you're doing good. But when you get really good at mixing and using it, and you get your water temperature together, you can use it about 4 times out of one bottle, believe it or not, and maybe more. So now you see how after I kept spinning that this mixture is getting thicker, and even the tone of the color is getting richer. Sometimes with this product, it comes out with a greenish hue, a greenish color, but the end result after you let it set into the hairs that you're dyeing, whether it's your beard or it's the hair on your head, because you can use this same product for the hair on your head. You see how I'm constantly mixing? And that's what you have to do for a minute. Plus, I can't put power into my mix because I'm holding the phone. But what you want to do is, it'll finish setting, even if it's kind of green or dark green, once you apply it to the hair. You just give it time and it'll set. Setting is the most important part of the process after mixing. So I'm going to keep spinning it and spinning it and spinning it until I get it like I want it. Okay, one of the ways that I test the thickness of it is I just take it and then I hold it down and I watch the drip. The slower the drip, the thicker it is. And so I want it pretty much this thick. I don't want it any thinner than this. See, that's a pretty good drip, because you got to imagine each drip or splash is applied to your face, and the thicker the drip, the less splatter you'll get. And that's very important, because you want the product on your face, not on your wall. You want it off the wall, like Michael Jackson. Now, my next move is to clean up the beard area and give some distinction in my lines, give some distinctions in the edge, and clean up around my neck area before I apply the dye. So that's what I'm about to get into now. I'm going to begin with outlining my beard with a magic pencil. So I'm going to outline the area and give me a bridge or a fence around the area I don't want to move from. In other words, I want to keep the dye, the hair color, the Bigen inside of this area that I'm creating. And this just gives me, I like to call it a fence. it puts a fence around the beard area. So will pretty much be my design and outline. Bottom, I'm looking to drop this area down a little bit. I don't want it just strictly on my chin or my jawbone. I kind of want it lower, and that area be darker, which will give me the of a bigger and wider beard until it grows in. You know, sometimes when you drop it lower than the jawline, even when a client has a not so wide beard, dropping it lower than the jawline will help make the beard appear bigger, because it'll have more space from top to bottom. So I'm going to drop this. I don't have to outline it. So what I'll do is I'll just take my trimmers. And drop it just a little bit. Sorry about that. Notice, to the areas that I cleaned, I always blew my jaw up. Puff your jaws up on each side when you're going around the outline, okay? Don't forget I did that. I didn't say it, but watch how I did that. So now I'm caked up and I'm ready to apply dye. I've looked at the dye and I want to show you the dye too. Okay, here's the mixture. It's nice and greenish black, and it's very thick. Let's see. That's what you want to check for the thickness. That's how you check the thickness, okay? So once again, it's black and it's ready. Let you look at it. So now, I'm gonna sit that down. Got a little paper towel over here. And now we got these that came with it. I'm gonna throw those on. You know what these are. So we're gonna slip those on. The plastic gloves that came with the dye. So, now what I usually do if I have just something quirky that I do, if I got this type of brush I'm using, I just use that on the end. I take that, I don't waste it. And when I start with the dye, I go to my most empty spots first. The most empty spots first that you can see skin is where I want to apply dye first. The reason why I apply dye there first is because I want the dye to get in darker in that area first. That's the area I need to get the darkest, okay? So those are the areas I hit first. So I'm just gonna wipe that in right off of here and right off the bat. So I don't waste it. I didn't waste it, you see? As long as you mixed it thick, you can just apply it. I go to my other side, look for the thin area, and brush it in. Once you get your mix together, you can just start applying it. Once you've drawn a fence, you should know where to keep it inside of. Don't go outside the fence, just like you would tell your dog. Don't go outside the fence. Stay in here, Sparky. Since you're a barber, your dog probably has a barber name, like Buzz, Razor, Aftershave. No, I'm just joking. Just joking. So now I'm going in this area. And see, I got a lot, I used quite a bit of it. So now I don't scoop it out and apply like that. What I do is I just let my bristles get deep enough, and whatever's on them, that's what I gently brush in. on both sides. Covering all the gray. Now, if this is your first time or your first or second or first few times, you don't have to be perfect when applying it. I'm gonna show you a couple tricks. Just stay tuned, stay patient. And if you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe. If you're a new barber just starting out, subscribe. If you're a client, subscribe. You'll get a lot of info. Just come on in and hang out with your boy, Magic Mill. You dig? Okay, so I'm just applying it. I usually hit my mustache. I got a little bald area in there, so I hit that and leave it on there first before I even go off too deep into my mustache. So. And the last thing I'm gonna do is do the outline. You do that last. Because if you do it first, your outline will be darker than everything else and it won't give it that natural look. See? So yeah, I just get coming around with it just like this. Tapping around that line a little bit now. And you can take your towel if you want to, if you're a perfectionist, and come around it. And just make that edge right there. If it's too smudged out for you, then you can wait a minute and come right back around it like this. Put more definition to it and walk it around using the edge of the brush. See how I did that? Just like an edger. You do it just like an edger and walk it around when you get to that line. As it begins to cure on your face, as it begins to sink in and become ready to be washed out, you'll get this type of look. It'll get cakey, thick, and as you move and flex your face, you can feel it separating. It'll have like a mask type of grasp around your beard, but as you move, you'll feel the mask begin to break. Now, when you feel that breaking feeling, wait about 10 more minutes and then wash it out, and it'll be pretty much as dark as it should be. Sometimes it'll be a little bit darker, but if it is, don't worry about that, because what happens is 1 day or 2 days of showering and it will lighten up and get more natural, okay? So now I'm about to I'm about to wash it out for you guys, and then you can check it out and see my end result, okay? And as you notice from the last video, I went on and processed shaving my head, so I had to clean it up. Starting to get jazzy already, baby. Hi. I almost forgot. Make sure when you're washing out any coloring, you want to use cold to lukewarm water. Okay, so now we'll get a look at the finished result. That's pretty good for a quick, fast way to apply your dye to your Okay, so now we'll get a look at the finished result. That's pretty good for a quick, fast way to apply your dye to your beard gang. Hey, peace out. Thanks for watching. It's Magic Mill.